Okay, so this is my Harvard Business Marketing simulation, getting 8 million, and as you can see right here, hit the 8 million mark. I think that this Harvard Business simulation will really help, like, in the future for like pricing for customers and like helping you focus on which customers to kind of put your priorities towards versus the smaller customers who you still want to prioritize but maybe not focus as much on. So for the dashboard overview, I kind of, like I said, focus more on the larger customers and less on the smaller customers just because they were going to give us more profits. And so for how using segment and customers helps make product marketing and product design decisions. Like I said, like the smaller customers just don't give you as much profit as the larger customers, so I kind of put more profit or more um, customer made sure that the larger customers were more satisfied than the smaller customers. And then discussing on how creating a pricing strategy affects customers' responses and how they affect profit and revenue. Um, as you can tell, like I've focused a lot more on the larger customers and profit and revenue went up. So we can go to like our net prices and see where like segment they all kind of stayed up equal except for the smaller customers to where like it started off about ballpark with everybody else but then dropped down for their sales and then kind of came back up and then in the end it went down where everybody else kind of stayed even. Customer purchases, all the bigger customers seem to gradually buy more and more, especially segment A. Segment B, because their prices weren't affected as much by whatever we did, didn't really focus as much on them. So I did as segment C and D. And then the smaller customers, you can see, just kind of stayed steady low down there. And then sales, you can tell larger customers bought a lot more, both new and acquired customers kind of were parallel. And then income statement, net income, as you can tell, started off really low and then kind of skyrocketed, and the revenue just kind of had a steady pace of growth. For market research, you can tell it just kind of grew, focused more on the larger ones and less on the segment B just because they're just not as they didn't care about whatever we did. They were more faithful to the competitor. For product performance, I just kind of steadily increased compared to the competitor, although the competitor kind of had more thermal resistance. It seemed we still did well with our customers. Customer satisfaction was one of the things that I wanted to focus most on just because uh, customers are your base no matter what. So as long as you keep them happy, they'll keep coming back to you. You just kind of have to listen to what each customer says uh, every time you go through the quarter to quarter and make sure that they're happy with the thermal resistance and the power to size ratio, along with just their pricing. I mean, make sure that their pricing is what they want. Like the distributors, they always wanted a high profit margin, so you kind of made sure that they were getting what they needed and made sure everybody else got what they wanted. For the sales force report, you can tell I've focused mainly on A, B, A, C, and D and a lot less on B, just because no matter what, they're faithful to the other customers or other manufacturers, and so it didn't really make much sense for me to focus my efforts on them. Managing each claimed and maintenance consistency helps to perform well internally and externally. So as long as I made sure all the customer claims and made sure that they were happy, it just reflects in our profits and revenue. Um, Using marketing and financial metrics to help analyze performance, like I just go back here to customer purchases, and you can tell that based on how the customers reacted to you listening to them, they would buy more and were happy. For like you can tell customers were much more loyal, the more you listen to them, especially down here in segment A. They had steady growth throughout the entire time, mainly because I focused on their customer satisfaction, which was very satisfied. Segment B was satisfied, but stayed satisfied the entire time. Segment C was very satisfied, and D was also satisfied, and small customers were very satisfied, even though we didn't pay as much attention to them in the long run. They still stayed with us at an even rate, even though they weren't our full focus on them. Back to the dashboard overview. We kind of were consistent on the spending on features. As long as our customers were happy, we didn't think we needed to add anything to that. Same with the average prices. We just kind of got to the average price we wanted to be and stayed there, even though for our smaller customers it was much lower, and for our larger customers they seem to be happy with those. As you can tell with our gross profit margin, it kind of just took a steady high up there, the 18% range. Segment share, I guess I think that's everything. I really think this Harvard Business simulation really helped out and will help in the future, just because it brings out things you would never really think about. I mean, each customer is going to be different, and so you just kind of need to focus on that, and hopefully that'll help in future endeavors.